Welcome to the Red Candle Club. We got Jimmy and Comrade Mario. I won't share his real name. He wants to stay anonymous.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll keep it there. At Comrade, is it at Comrade Mario, your Twitter name?
Yeah, I mean, the handle's Terramaxi on all like.
Oh, it is.
handles,
Okay.
But yeah. I
All right. Yeah, I'll put it all in the show notes afterwards. People want to follow you, whatnot. Cool.
Awesome. Yeah. How's everybody's Christmas been?
Been entertaining.
Yeah, entertaining.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like a glutton. I've been eating like just tons of cookies, and I just went to the gym and I sweat in the sauna for like a half hour because I just had to get it. Like, I feel like half of my blood was just like sugar. I need to get it all out, you know.
Yeah, I need a sauna right now. Yeah, I was just eating, and I brought like a dozen donuts to like my girlfriend's parents' house, but they already had like a giant tray of cookies and like just like chocolate walnut pastries and like just cheesecake. Yeah, and like all the meals and the dinners were already like sweetened with like pineapples and like ham. But yeah,
nice.
Anyone else have any good holiday spicy news?
We all got sick.
Yeah,
everyone in the house is sick. Like everyone's congested. It's the wildest thing. Cough, cough, cough. Everyone's sick, but it's a great time. It's a great time to be around family. It's a good time to
I've been hearing that too. People getting sick. Yeah, it's lovely.
What's not sick is our market action here. This is amazing. It's not anemic.
It's very valid. Yeah, man. It's literally crisp. Oh no, it's the 23rd, and Solana broke 100, and I texted basically like everyone that I knew, all the normie and not normie. Like this is pretty epic. This is like seeing Solana back at 100 again was a really good feeling for me personally. I don't know if anyone else felt that.
It's gonna go to $1,000, man. Like...
Yeah, that was.
Yeah. I mean, it's still 50+% under the all-time high, so it's got a long way to go before it's in full bull mode. But I mean, it's a pretty epic climb. It's a 10x climb from the beginning of the year.
I am curious, like, what the supply difference is since its previous all-time high. If we've like minted a lot more tokens, I mean, we definitely have minted a lot more, but I'm curious, like, how many more?
We're thinking it $1,000. That's it. Supply.
You're right. One normie I was talking to that was hitting me up like back in like the peak bull for like all the tokens to buy. They bought Solana like around its previous all-time high, and they, despite this insane run up in the last year, they like still haven't like it hasn't like gotten into their news space yet. So I think like the typical normie like probably still isn't aware of what's happening.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my brother is one of these also. Like my brother I consider him a normie, and he gets most of his news from me. And he bought Solana around 90, and he's in the green now for the first time in like 2 years. So he was like pretty happy about it. And I just kept telling him to hold it. Don't sell it. It's going to go back up. And now he's in the green again, and I feel like the climb from 100 to 200 is going to be a little harder for Solana because there's going to be a lot of these people that log in and see they're in the green, and they're just going to sell, right? They've been through hell the past 2 years, and they're just going to like be like, I'm done with this shit. And they don't, people that haven't been doing research and whatnot. But I don't know. That's just my feelings. That I think 2024, Solana is not going to be the same trade in 2024 as it was in 2023.
No, you guys aren't bullish enough. $1,000 plus. I think, like you guys are laughing, but like these ETFs that are, if they get approved, which like 99% will more likely than not get approved, like the level of inflows that we're gonna get is just gonna be absolutely insane. And I think Solana and many other coins will reach certain heights that we've never seen before. Like I think $1,000 is completely doable.
I agree with you, but maybe 2025, not
2024. I'm not saying 2024 $1,000.
I do agree.
I'm not saying it's going to go to $1,000, but I'm just saying like the ETFs is like a catalyst that hasn't been really like processed even by like the most bullish of people, because once we have the BTC ETFs, attention will go to the ETH ETFs, right? And then which got delayed to May, right? So once BTC and ETH is like a lock, we will then move towards AVAX ETF, XRP ETF, and then eventually a Solana ETF. Like it's just going to keep on going down the loony bin.
Just to jump in, the reason why is that this Solana move up is really degens in crypto. I mean, it's just people who are just ditching Ethereum. I mean, they're literally saying, F Ethereum, I want a shitcoin. Let me go to a place where there is no fees. And that's basically a lot of that money's going there. So it's like a whirlwind. You have, Bonk, you have the airdrops that are happening on Solana, and then you have people the beta is just following and saying, you know what, I want to speculate. I want to have fun. I want to have it 20, 30, 50x. You can't put a $5 trade in on Ethereum or a $10 trade on mainnet Ethereum.
Mm-hmm.
It's impossible, but you can do that on Solana. So I think a lot of this is just Solana stealing Ethereum's lunch. It's crypto native people coming in and saying, hey, I want to go to Solana. I want to have a lot more fun. I don't really care about anything else. And that's what's happening.
Yeah, no, I think we should definitely get into that. Before we do, I'm realizing like Jimmy or Mario, did you guys want to like give like quick intros about yourselves, like how you got into crypto and like kind of what you're generally doing now in the space?
Yeah, so I'll start off. I joined crypto in October of 2021. But I was involved in 2020, but I was just like a complete noob. Over the last 2 years, I've like grinded the bear market. I've worked for 6 different crypto companies: Trader Joe, Algorand, Polygon, just to name a few. I'm just like your local degen, super into DeFi. As for how I got in, I got in like everyone else as a Bitcoin maxi. Once Bitcoin clicks for you, everything else falls into place. I saw like these grifters like Chamath, I don't know his last name, bro. Chamath and Kevin O'Leary were shilling Bitcoin heavy in 2020, and that appealed to me at the time. Bought a little bit of Bitcoin during the COVID crash, and then learned about like there's these like places where you could deposit Bitcoin and earn yield on your Bitcoin, Nexo, Celsius, right? But the thing, what I did a little bit differently than everybody else was like, where was all this yield coming from? Like, why is it that I'm getting 6-7% of my Bitcoin? Learned about USDC, learned about Ethereum, started going on the rabbit hole. I quickly realized that spending $200 on gas on year-end finance and all these different protocols that were on ETH at the time, like I'm poor, bro. Like I can't I can't sustain that. So that quickly led me to discover Terra Luna and Avalanche, and then like the rest is history.
Yeah, I'll jump in. I first heard about Bitcoin in 2013. This kid in the club was like, "Hey man, did you buy any Bitcoin?" And I'm like, "What is this?" He's like, "Yeah, you got to buy it. It's the next big thing." I was like, "All right, man, whatever." And then like next year, the year after, I think like 2015, for some strange reason, I thought of Bitcoin. Like I woke up one day, I'm like, I got to read about this Bitcoin. Very random. So then I read about it. It took me like an hour, and I was already convinced. I didn't even more than an hour. I was like, this is it. So then I just started buying Bitcoin. 2016 came around. I was able to buy Ethereum, and I wasn't really paying attention to space. And then 2017 happened, the magical golden bull run, as I call it. And I just jumped in all in and started getting into ICOs and rode that wave. Obviously, the 18-19 bear market I still have PTSD on that one more than this one. But always stayed in and always like to learn. And, right now I'm working on an NFT startup. It's to leverage intellectual property within NFTs and then help new brands join the Web3 foray by linking the two through like an ad tech medium. And just thoroughly interested in everything. I have a lot of fun. I'm the resident bull. I'm pretty much a Bitcoin guy. I think that's the only real asset right now. But I love everything. Now I'm learning more in the Solana ecosystem in this last couple of weeks. Bought a couple Sol, been shitcoining there. And it's a lot of fun. It's opening my eyes to newer and better places. So I'm excited to be here.
Love it. Yeah, did you guys want to like jump into like a quick like market analysis, and then we have like a couple things we can cover, like 2023 recap, and then we can just kind of dive into 2024 predictions.
Should we pull up some charts, or you just want to riff?
Let's pull up these charts.
I see we have a little dip today.
Yeah, we did. Let's see. Let's go to Bitcoin did dip a little today. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Bitcoin's been kind of struggling here. It tried to break 44, it tried again, failed. I just wonder if like it's going to just keep consolidating here for a while and then move up, or I mean, it could go either way. Honestly, I really don't know.
Yeah, I think it's like it's not gonna go anywhere until we get until January 10th, which is like when the ETF news is supposed to come out. I don't think we're gonna be anywhere there's not gonna be any meaningful like price movement either way until we reach closer and closer. So I think that once we reach closer to that day, if it's going to either have like a violent move up or a violent move down. If the ETFs get denied, obviously we nuke, and then if it gets approved, then I think it's like party, it's party time.
Yeah. So do we think the ETF or the Bitcoin ETF is going to be a sell the news event or not?
I've seen like a lot of like people call for sell the news. It's almost becoming like a consensus trade, like that, like everybody's like coalescing around. I kind of disagree. I think that there's a decent chance that it doesn't like we don't dump. We'll just continue to grind higher, because we were talking before about how like normies that bought Solana, they're just now waking up and realizing, oh, the prices are up, or some people are not still aware. I think that we're still in our own little bubble, right? And once these ETFs, like the news comes ahead, like it shows up in CNBC and the Wall Street Journal, like a huge amount of people outside of our bubble is going to start to realize that, oh shit, isn't Bitcoin dead? Isn't crypto dead? Like why is there ETFs? Like why is the head of BlackRock shilling these products? Like I think there's going to be like a repricing. I think that a lot of people are going to start to realize that, oh shit, this stuff is actually real. Like there's some like substance here, and I think we're gonna have more inflows. Like I don't think we're gonna necessarily dump. And also, like anytime the market, like crypto Twitter or the market has an extreme view on something, and everybody seems to agree, like usually more than not, like you should, like it's been profitable to like bet against it. Like everybody was super bullish on like the ETH merge back then. Like if you guys remember, everyone was super like there was like a consensus view that Solana was like, fuck Solana, it's dead. Like AVAX is dead, Cosmos is dead. Like you guys, you have to be very wary of like anytime the market is like really like agreeing on something, because I found it more often than not, it's usually the opposite happens. I don't think it's that easy that everybody's gonna sell before like Christmas and they'll celebrate the holidays. The market dumps. They'll be able to buy the dip cleanly. I don't think it's that easy. But if it happens, it happens. Like I don't. I'm of the view that you should be prepared for anything.
We saw like when there was that fake like ETF news like a couple months ago, like the price like shot up like crazy. Yeah, I feel like we're gonna get a similar situation again.
There's so many people that think that crypto's a scam, and they've just written it off completely. The fact that TradFi is now positioning themselves to start like marketing these products as if like these are serious products backed by serious people, by serious professionals. Like I know for a fact that a lot of people are just gonna be like, wait a minute, like let me download Coinbase, let me start looking into this, let me start researching, let me start buying. Like I think that's more likely to happen than everything dumping. Like I just don't see it. Like I really don't see it. But hey, if it happens, it happens. Like I'll buy the dip.
Yeah, I just want to jump in. I don't think it's a sell the news. I think that there's a lot of PTSD within the. You have to take ourselves out of the loop. We're always in that crypto native bubble, and crypto native people, they have like PTSD from bear markets that last longer than bull markets. So I don't think it's a sell the news. I think if they approve it, it's going to go up, because obviously they're going to have to buy Bitcoin to put in these ETFs to make them legit. And the amount of money that's going to be poured into this space in the next, 18 to 24 months, upon approval can be, an easy 10x here just on Bitcoin. So I don't think it's a sell the news at all.
10x on Bitcoin. Price prediction by Jimmy, 425 by the end of the cycle. I mean, hell, bring it. I'm positioned well for that. So
you never know. You never know. It just takes one or two countries to say, "Hey, listen, we want Bitcoin as our national currency," and then that will speed up the process.
For sure. I think this is going to be, obviously, this is looking like the ETF cycle, this cycle. But I think if you look at further cycles, I could definitely see there being like a sovereign cycle where the thing that kicks off the next one is, a country goes fully on Bitcoin and it ends up like stabilizing their economy. Yeah. And that it actually brings prosperity. Like if that happens, it's going to be a domino that just kicks off every other, like all the Latin American countries are going to start looking at that. I mean, yeah. So I think it's possible.
Everyone's going to be looking at Argentina and just watching them very closely and seeing how they perform, how their economy like recovers, if it recovers at all. So I think they're going to be very important as a bellwether for Bitcoin for sure.
Yeah, but I mean that would be a de-dollarization, right? I mean that's essentially Bitcoinizing the world, so that would definitely propel it to insane heights.
I don't think we're there yet, but I mean, we're seeing like small moves by governments, like leaning towards more with crypto adoption. Like I saw, like Japan removed like capital gains on crypto, Nigeria removing crypto restrictions on the bank to bank level. Obviously, Argentina recently came out with the news that you get to settle like contracts in Bitcoin. So I think like we're slowly moving towards different countries like experimenting with Bitcoin and these other crypto assets. Like I think it's just a slow march, and then maybe all at once later down the road as we get closer to the bull or future cycles.
Yeah, and then even on America, it's very interesting. Like the former president literally like launched 2 NFT collections now, so like that's also wild. Like I don't even know any other president or leader that's like launched an NFT collection. So that's like just I don't know, another example. And we have a couple
owns a couple $1 billion worth of ETH. Like he has a wallet and everything.
Yeah, did pretty well. Yeah, any other charts you think are interesting? I mean, definitely Solana. I think just it's been ripping like crazy. Chainlink as well. Near I'm seeing also like
they did a 5x.
I know very little about. Yeah, they're going crazy right now.
I don't have Near up here. Hold on. I haven't been looking at Near really at all.
They've been killing it.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay.
No, like yeah. Like it's interesting to see that ever since like Solana did well as it did, right? We're seeing like money rotate to like different ecosystems now. Like it went to Avalanche, and then it went to Injective, and then it went to Say, and now it's like Polygon's pumping too. Like it's funny, like money's moving.
Yeah, well, if you look at the Bitcoin dominance chart, it does paint a picture of that also. I mean, the Bitcoin dominance has been dropping, and if it falls through this level, which looks like it might,
bullish.
It's. I mean, this is telling a story that we're in a different phase of the bull market now. Like we're getting into more of like the third and fourth inning, where the Bitcoin dominance starts to decrease, and thing like the total 3 just keep ripping higher. I mean, this is basically the altcoin indicator, and this is like the momentum is clearly on the upside here. So, yeah, Bitcoin dominance falling, total 3 going up. This is an interesting chart too, ETH BTC. So this one, we're still at the bottom here since June 22. So Ethereum really has to. But the bulls really have to step in here for Ethereum, and if they can hold this level, but it's tricky, man. Ethereum has taken it on the chin this year with the Solana run for sure. So
I don't get why. Like I personally don't get why people think like ETH is gonna like why it's gonna pump, because like right now as it stands, like there's still no like new money flowing in. Like it's all just we're all trapped within our bubble, right? And all this new money like flows that we're seeing is just sideline people. It's not actual like it's not even institutions. It's not retail. It's none of that. So within the context of that, like ETH is perceived as, oh, it's this like this Bitcoin and then there's ETH, right? And people like to it's people perceive ETH as like as the store of value. And another thing is that people who wanted ETH already have ETH. Like people who are bullish on ETH have already positioned. They bought it at like $900 when it bottomed. When it went to like the 900 range, like everybody who wanted ETH have bought ETH. Like now it's when it comes to like in the short term at least, right? Like money's gonna flow to the coins that haven't like haven't gone into like to the billions of market cap. That's what we're seeing. Say Injective. We're seeing all these different Cosmos coins, Kuji, Celestia, like all of these different coins they're pumping because it's not at the level it's not at like the billions and billions of dollars that Bitcoin and ETH are. And the thing is that I'm not even bearish on ETH. Like ETH will have its time, right? Like it you wait for the ETH ETF, wait for the institutions to start buying ETH and get into liquid staking, right? But why I just don't see it. Like why would it pump now, right? Like everybody's having fun on Sol, everybody's having fun on Injective, everybody's having fun on Avalanche. Like that's where the money's going.
Yeah, I mean, I think like the bull case for ETH. And then, yeah, I definitely want to hear Jamie's thoughts on this. But yeah, I don't know if you're able to pull up that link, Lawrence, the ultrasound money. This is probably like a chart that many people are familiar with. It's like when they activated the burn mechanics for Ethereum. I guess that was like a year or no, maybe like 2 years ago. The supply has just been like steadily decreasing. So, but then peak bear, the supply kind of slowly was increasing. And then once the merge hit, we, went down. It kind of was leveling out. Then it dropped a lot, went up. But yeah, we recently did hit the lowest supply. So if you scroll down a little bit, there's like a panda icon over the time frame. It's kind of like under the current supply tab where you have like the time frames. And then, yeah, you'll see once you click the panda icon, the chart is, we hit like the all-time low of Ethereum supply post-merge. And then that basically shows you the supply over time. So this, I'd say, is what kind of like Ethereum people are like most jazzed about when it comes to it as like an investment. I still think the layer one is just very terrible for like general users. And I guess the hope is that like all these layer twos are, make it easier to bridge to them, and then you just kind of chill on them and then do everything you want to do. So I think Base is kind of like had a moment kind of recently with Friend Tech and like other meme coins on there. But yeah, bridging across the different layer twos is pretty annoying. It's not the worst thing ever, and there are like jumper exchanges that allow you to switch everything over. But yeah, so I think like the developer experience there, and then like proto dank sharding, which at that point would easily enable full sharding on Ethereum to make like the base layer a lot more affordable. So there's like some upgrades coming that are exciting, but I think definitely recently there's been a lot more excitement on Solana. I feel like Ethereum has been more infrastructure related excitement, like Eigenlayer and all these rollups that are kind of launching, but Solana has really captured the minds of like the user. And yeah, I think that it's going to have a lot of competition this cycle. I think it's the most legitimate, like quote unquote ETH killer that I've seen.
So for anyone's listening and is not looking at the video, this is ultrasound.money is the website we're looking at. I mean, this does paint a picture of, decreasing supply, but the demand's got to be there too. That's the thing. If the demand goes away for Ethereum, then all this kind of doesn't really mean much, right? I don't know. I mean, that's just my perspective. That's my like degen brain take. If the dank sharding works and Eigenlayer comes out, it could breathe life into this system, and we could see a surge in price here. And Ethereum is starting to get pretty hated now on crypto Twitter. Like people are just like bashing Ethereum now, and typically when that starts happening, I think if sentiment's that low on something, then it usually means that you should take a second look at it and maybe buy more. So that's my thought on it.
I'll just jump in real quick. I think that Ethereum is going to be institutionalized just like Bitcoin. So, and I also think that Ethereum, just by the stake of it, by the business of staking, actually creates value for people who own the stake. So it's going to be It's going to be viewed differently by a TradFi investor as opposed to other protocols. I think that right now, I think I said this earlier, I think there's just a lot of people who are just shitcoining on other, for lack of a better term, they're shitcoining on other chains. They're chasing the beta. They're dumping their Ethereum for it. And at some point, that party is going to end. I mean, I already see it now. I play a little shitcoining here and there on Solana. I see how many people jeep the charts. They're not willing to stay the course and see like a 3, 4, 20, 100x. They just want the quick 5, 20, 15, whatever percentage that they can get. So, that ultimately tells me that the money circulation is a little tighter and it's going faster. So that means that the charade will end at some point because there'll be more losers than winners. And I think Ethereum is set up very well for 2024. You have the Bitcoin ETF, you have an Ethereum ETF application out there, Eigenlayer is coming, Pro-Dang sharding. I still think the NFT community is 95 to 98% on Ethereum. I know we don't talk a lot about that. I own ETH NFTs. I don't think I would own any other NFTs. I think that the culture is still on ETH. So, it takes a lot to dethrone the quote unquote king or the first smart contract platform like Ethereum. I think, people are seeing the possibilities that a super fast monolithic layer one like Solana offers. I personally believe that 2024, you have to look at it from instead of a degen like eyes, look at it from like a TradFi regular normie view. People have actually texted me about Ethereum, not Bitcoin, not about Solana. They ask me, should I buy Ethereum? And I'm like, yeah, why not? I think it's a good platform. I think all the liquidity has stemmed from Ethereum pretty much. I just think Ethereum, the ultrasound money, I always was against. I just think that you're trying, Ethereum is in a weird position because they're trying to compete with Bitcoin on one side, and then they're trying to suppress other alt layer ones on the other. So they're trying to say to themselves, we're ultrasound money better than Bitcoin, right? Which you're not. And then, oh yeah, these are alt layer ones, scam, throughputs are shit, blah, blah, blah. These are all fake things. So they're in a kind of a weird position that they don't know they're not talking to people directly this is why you should own Ethereum. And I think once Ethereum or the people behind, the maximalists, for instance, like the bankless people and, the rest of the Ethereum max is not even coming to my head. Once they realize that the culture hasn't left Ethereum and NFTs are the real reason that Ethereum is that strong, then things are cyclical. Life is cyclical. Right now, I would be buying the dip. If I was in Solana from $10 and I rode it to 100, why not take some profit and shove it into a more quote unquote safe, coin? Why not take some profit here? But we'll see. We'll see as the time progresses.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I remember as a former, I would say pseudo Ethereum maxi, when I was first getting into Ethereum, I didn't see any reason to hold Bitcoin. And I totally see the value that Bitcoin offers now. And yes, I wonder if that's kind of a similar thing now where Solana is this very new age kind of cool, exciting tool, and Ethereum's kind of viewed as this boomer coin, but the Ethereum community is still very advanced and developed and mature. So I think they've probably thought through a lot of these problems already, and you just got to give it a little bit more time for them to keep launching more products around their EVM.
I'll just jump in. What saves Solana at $9? Bunk. Ethereum can stop being such cheap people that they are, and why don't they just airdrop $500 to every Ethereum holder and see how that will drive liquidity right back from Solana back to Ethereum?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think the layer 0 airdrop or any of these up and coming L2s like ZK Sync or Mantle Network, I think one giant EVM related airdrop will result in inflows coming back. I think layer zeros will probably be it. I really think that the money will flow back eventually to ETH. But I do want to disagree with Jimmy though, with the fact that the culture's on Ethereum. I think that culture can be created on any chain as long as number goes up long enough and people cash out. Like people will just form culture in and of itself. Like there's nothing special on ETH other than the fact that it's been around longer.
Just to rebut that, I understand where you're coming from. I'm simply talking from someone who invests in NFTs. I just wouldn't buy an NFT on any other chain. I wouldn't buy an Optimism, wouldn't buy on Solana. All the premier NFTs, the blue chips, the stuff that's going to be in like Sotheby's, they're all right now on from Ethereum. That's what I meant by culture, not anything else. Like NFTs. I'm not talking about DeFi. I'm not talking about meme coins. I'm just talking about NFTs. That's what I was referring to in terms of the culture, to be honest with you. But also,
Understood.
that's really why I wanted to clarify that. But one thing about the EVM airdrops, you have to participate in the EVM airdrops. So I have to bridge over to and start farming, layer zero, ZK sync, and all this other stuff. Bonk was very strategically like airdropped when Solana was like $9. Like Solana's going to zero, everyone's scared. And then all of a sudden, last year, Bonk has just dropped, and then Bonk helps pump Solana back like over to like $20. That's the kind of airdrop that I think Ethereum needs. Like everybody who's ever owned Ethereum gets this airdrop. And that's what I think Bonk and what Solana did was really cool. Like I think that really brought back a lot of interest.
I wonder who came up with the money for Bonk initially last year. I'm kind of like wondering if it was Anatoly. He just like took some of his net worth and was just like, listen, I need to save this shit. I've been doing too much work to let this thing fail. And, he just reached out to someone and got a legal structure set up and created Bonk, and just airdropped it.
So, don't quote me here, but I do have anecdotal evidence based on like people that I've spoken to and in group chats that I'm in. But Bonk was, yes, it was heavily pushed by like Anatoly and the Solana Foundation, that they really wanted this meme coin to like really take off, and they were willing to do whatever it took to make sure that this meme coin did well, because they knew that if they could get Bonk to succeed, then it would kickstart the Solana ecosystem narrative, and and they're ultimately right. Like what you need is a solid meme coin. Like they saw like Pepe and these other shit coins on ETH doing really well, and they wanted to replicate that success, and they ended up doing it. Yeah, so like it's funny, like the story of Bonk, right? Like it was only distributed to people that were developers at the time, and no one else cared about it in the bottom. And it's funny to see. It's funny to see now that it's like what, it's at $1 billion market cap.
A very huge success story for Bonk. So I'll be watching this closely. I think as Solana keeps ripping, that this is just going to keep ripping too. I don't see what's going to stop Bonk. I mean, I think we could just go through really quick 2023. Like, what are the biggest things that we've seen from our perspective? What was the biggest news? Yeah, I think that's appropriate. I'll just give the obvious one is the ETF news. I think that was pretty, back in the summertime when I think Bitcoin was at like 25K and it looked like it was about to go under. All of a sudden the ETF news came out and it started pumping again. That I wasn't expecting that for this year. That was a big one for me. So that's my pick.
I think my pick is USDC depegging due to banking failures in TradFi. I think that's the biggest story of the year, because if you think about it, like we had like a little bit of a resurgence in Q1 where everyone was kind of stable, but they kind of were forced back into the market. But then that happens and it's like all Armageddon. Holy shit, like this is another, FTX. This is another, Luna situation. Crypto's going to zero. USDT is going to lose its peg. And it turned out to be like a 36 to 48 like fiasco, and then Bitcoin pumps because of it. Right? And then everyone's like, oh yeah, this is why, TradFi and banking is all bad. And then the Bitcoin started pumping, and then that narrative afterwards of the ETF, I think to me, that's the biggest story of the year. That happening, and then we are not at zero. We're double where we are. So that's pretty cool.
I remember the USDC depeg very like vividly. I had to calm down a lot of people when it was going to like 80, when it went to like 85 cents. Like a lot of people were like, "Oh my god, next Terra Luna." I'm like, "Bro, like chill. Like the situation is completely different. It turns out that they have a hole in their balance sheet, and it turns out that they're able to plug that hole if you just wait long enough. So just relax. I remember like the tether rates were super super high across all money markets. They were like 100%. Like you would be able to lend out your tether for 100% APR because everybody was like max borrowing tether in order to swap into USDC, and they were like leveraging on chain. And I was lucky enough to have tether at the time, and I was farming out my tether and was enjoying that 50 to 100%. But it's funny because no matter like what happens, like whether it's a USD DPEG or a tether DPEG or what have you, there'll always be a way to make like money off of it, and that was like a very interesting time to go through.
Yeah, that was like an intense moment. I remember that. I had already kind of like toned down my like daily tracking of everything. I would occasionally pop in and I would see like, yeah, that happened. I was like, oh shit. But I'd already like gotten so wrecked like at the start of the bear market that I was like, what more could possibly happen right now? Yeah, I think, yeah, I mean, the whole SBF situation is kind of coming to a resolution. I guess that was kind of just like entertaining to just see him constantly just make a fool out of himself. So that, I guess, was kind of like a little entertaining popcorn news just for everyone. It's like we've all just suffered. Like, let's just watch this come to a resolution. And yeah, CZ stepping down, that was certainly, I guess, a surprise. I never really had like a true super strong opinion on CZ either way. And I guess, there's going to be a massive payout. He might have to do a little bit of jail time because of Binance, facilitating, possibly, I think, knowingly certain money laundering activities. So, I guess justice will be served there.
A lot of execs at Binance left too, right? Didn't we see like a big rotation of the top leaders there? Just leave the company before CZ steps down.
Yeah, like their compliance and like legal. Yeah, they had a big exodus over there. So, but I guess a lot of people felt that CZ was still an important figure in the space. So I don't think he kind of rises to the same level near like at all as SBF or like Do Kwon. And then, yeah, I mean, we did have Do Kwon also get arrested in March. And then, yeah, I would say like the biggest positive thing was the Grayscale winning one of the lawsuits. I feel like that kind of was a huge reversal that started the reversal. And yeah, based on information that I received, basically it seems very likely that it will drop between January 8th and 10th. I think just the providers are kind of getting their last sort of files and ducks in a row. And I believe that there are talks with the SEC that like, seem to point very heavily toward it going through. And also kind of got some information that an Ethereum ETF would be probably less likely than another ETF because like Ethereum proof of stake, you do have that queue to exit. So I don't think it would make as much sense for there to be like an Ethereum ETF anytime soon, because if you were a provider and you were to offer that like spot ETF and you have a massive withdrawal, like that's just kind of risk you're fully taking on. You can't have like liquid tokens in the same ETF holding. There's like various like regulations and rules around like how you can do an ETF. So Bitcoin's very easy, or it's like relatively easy compared to other like proof of stake tokens. But yeah, I just thought that was kind of interesting news piece there. Yeah.
It was a good year. Good year. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah. Finishing strong.
It was a good. It started off good. Sure. Then we had this huge lull, and then finished strong. I love it.
Yeah, I think now's as good a time as ever to get back in. The masses still are not really plugged in, so I'm like, yeah, we're kind of building up that groundswell of interest slowly but surely. Did anyone have any other points on just like 2023 recap?
Nothing specifically. The only thing is I should have bought more Sol. Yeah, that's really, I feel like everyone's saying that. we're all collectively like, why the fuck didn't we buy more?
Yeah.
Bonk. I mean, that's the real play.
Yeah, and should have
Give
bought
him a
bonk.
bonk.
I was eyeing it at the bottom too because I remember hearing about it early in the year, and then I looked at it in October, like just randomly, September, October. Looked at it and was like, man, it's really sold off. It's basically just totally gone. I'm like, I should throw a little in. I just didn't, and big regrets. So I'm taking that lesson with me to 2024. That if you want to buy something, you just should because it could pump, and if you know regretting missing out on that pump really sucks.
Yep.
The best moment.
Don't forget about your moon back.
2023 for me was the hamster racing. Like those like that week or so, like everybody was just betting on hamsters like fighting each other, and it was that was and then it transitioned into like turtle racing and rock fighting. It was amazing. It just everybody just letting go any sense of reason and just just vibing.
The levels of degeneracy that this market offers its market participants is absolutely insane.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I mean the meme craze on Solana shocked me. I if you go to the subreddit, it's literally all just memes. Like people are like, "What do you think I should buy?" And the comments are all just like meme shit tokens. It's nothing, not like actual projects that have built products that people are using, just all memes. And it's just like, damn.
Dog with hat.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another one. I saw that on Meteora. I saw the LP pools, and I saw it on there before it went meteoric, and I'm just like, man, this is like really dumb. I'm gonna avoid this. And then now it's like $200 million market cap. So I don't know. Apparently, I'm the stupid one.
Memes are strong. The mimetic value of something it cannot be replicated. It's like the Mona Lisa.
Yeah.
Mona Lisa is alpha, and everything that's ever replicated it strengthens its mimetic value. So memes are very strong. For some reason, if you have a very good meme and it becomes a meme coin and it really hits zeitgeist, like that's 1000x right there.
For sure. Yeah, memes are one of those things that's like, to me, is like just purely a crypto phenomena that I really love. You know, and I hated it first, but now I've come to respect it because it makes a mockery of the financial system, like, and just investing in things, right? Like these are tokens that have no value fundamentally at all, and things that would make Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett seize up if they saw it, but people are getting rich on it. So it's like, it calls into question really like value investing big time. So I don't know. I just find that to be pretty funny.
I also think meme coins killed NFTs. NFT market during the quarter one of 2023 was quite strong. And then as soon as Pepe came out, all the mimetic value that NFTs held were just shot, and it was taken by fungible tokens. People are like, you know what? We're speculating on being art investors. Let's just speculate on being fungible token investors with the correct ticker. So, that's what killed the NFT market, especially on the Ethereum side. But I think 24 will be different. I think right now we're kind of like, I think we had a meme coin season for a while on Ethereum, and I think all those degenerates just moved into Solana and like Injective because they realized like, hey, like we're not going to spend like all this money on gas fees and failed transaction fees. Let's just chill here. And then I think this is good for Ethereum NFTs, just because if you've stayed in Ethereum after seeing Solana just like 10x, you're like, you know what? I'm a serious investor. Let me go appraise like real artworks, and you end up buying like a crypto dick butt for under 1 ETH. And you're like, yeah, that's a good value. I see the value in this. So I think it's going to be good for Ethereum NFTs in the long run. That the mimetics have moved, the meme coins have moved to other chains.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like way easier to just buy a meme coin and hold it, and you can, you don't really need to worry about it too much. I feel like NFTs, there's a lot of pressure like for the community and team to execute, and there's like all the file hosting, and then I mean, there's like the risk that I guess like the image might not be pinned, or like you might lose the image eventually. Then your NFT is just like absolutely useless, and you can't really appeal to as large of a crowd It's more of like a small crowd that's super passionate as opposed to like a broad base of hundreds of thousands of people that can just put in $1 or $2. So I do feel like NFTs are more limited in that
I
way.
think fungible tokens are built for flippage. Like it's built for it. Non-fungible tokens are not a good financial instrument to flip. Right? It's not like you could put it for sale on the floor. Someone could undercut you on the floor. Then you got to undercut them. Now you're facing slippage. Oh, I really need to get out and I have to pay 18% slippage plus this. It's not a good financial instrument for flipping, but it's a very good financial instrument if it's the right artist, it's zeitgeist, and you're willing to just park your money there and just forget about it for, let's say, 6, 12, 18 months. You can seriously make cash. Fungible tokens are way better for flipping and a lot more fun. You're in and out.
Right.
I think with meme coins, like it's easy to say, oh, I should have put money in it. I should have done this. I should have done that. But as regular market participants, you need to have some kind of process in which you'd be able to actually ape into a meme coin, right? Like maybe that process will look like, I will only have 1% of my portfolio into meme coins, right? Like if you have like $100,000 portfolio, maybe you only put like $1,000 into meme coins, and then of that $1,000, maybe you decide I will ape into $50 increments at a time into a meme coin that fulfills a set of criteria. A, is it funny? B, is it a honeypot? C, is it like what's the social sentiment like? Like you have to have like some kind of process in which you can actually ape into meme coins, because if you don't do that, then what's gonna happen is another one's gonna pop up and another one's gonna pop up and you're gonna be like, oh shit, I missed out that one too. But like realistically speaking, would you have aped into Bonk at the bottom? Would you have aped into Pepe at the at the price that it was? Like, no, realistically speaking, if you want to learn anything from it, you need to have some kind of process. Like if you're gonna actually take meme coin investing seriously, but like if you really want to take that seriously, there is a method to the madness. There is a way to go about doing it. There's like you could go to like Ether, well not Etherscan, but you could go to SoulScan and look at like new contracts that are popping up. There are tools that you can use. There's like Telegram bots. There are like sniper tools, right? Like there's so much there's so much into this, and it's just memes, right? Like you need to have some kind of process if you're gonna take that seriously. Otherwise, you know what? You're just gonna have to say, you know what? This is not for me. My strength lays in other areas, and if I miss the next bonk, so be it. Like it's not for me, because in crypto, there's so many ways you can make it. Like I don't participate in meme coins. I just buy and hold, and buy and hold has been proved very like profitable for me. But it's just a matter of sticking to your strengths. Are you going to be like the shitcoin master? Like some people do that. Like there are wallets out there that just keep on aping and keep on aping, and these wallets tend to be the ones that get the Pepes and the bonks of the world. Like there's a lot of wallets like that. But the question is, are you going to like dedicate yourself to building on a process that allows you to capture that next coin or not? That's just what I just wanted to throw that in.
I think the word meme coin followed by the word investing should never be a sentence. I think it's just speculation. There's no process, dude. Like I'm on these chats, like it's like, oh, gat, oh, dog, oh, wolf. Like there is no process. They just make sure it's not a honeypot, and then you just get a contract address.
Yeah, that's the process though. Like you need to have like a quick checklist to go through when you're aping into a meme coin, and that will allow you to like I believe that will allow you to outperform compared to the other people that just go onto Dex Screener and just ape into whatever. Like you do need to see honeypot. Check if it's a honeypot. Check like what's going on Twitter, if there's any social mentions. Check if your buddies are showing it. Like for instance, like Cock Inu. Like I knew Cock Inu was gonna do really well in Avalanche because it was made by the Chicken NFC people. And all of my Avalanche friends were like, "Oh shit, Cockino, let's go!" And then it just took off. I disagree. I think there's a process to it. It's just it's very hit or miss, right? Like even if you have a process to it, you can still lose everything. But in the right place, right time, especially when the market's heating up and it's like shitcoin season, having like a little bit of like a process in place will allow you to outperform other people. Otherwise, the point of the process is just that you don't overextend yourself, so that you're not the guy who put 20 grand into like a random shitcoin. It's just about having risk management. Like it's like having limits and having an exit strategy in mind. Just little rules that you need to implement.
Dude, by the time you do all that, this thing flew from $1,000 market cap to 500,000 market cap. So then you're saying
Yeah,
this was a good investment. So you buy it at
yeah,
500,000, you go to the
bro.
bathroom, you come back, it's at 200 market cap. You just lost what, 60% of your money. And there's
Yeah,
no
you're right.
process. You just see the ticker and you say, "Oh, buy," and that's it. That's it. There's nothing else.
I disagree, bro. Like I think there's a little bit more. I've seen people do it. I've seen people run
I'm
up like
doing
a
it.
small amount. I'm saying process in terms of like risk management. Like I'm saying
Okay. Yes.
you allocate a percent of your portfolio, let's say 1 or 2%, right? And then within that,
One or
you'll
two
say, I
percent
will,
of your portfolio.
yo, bro, like
That's what they tell
you'll
people
say,
to
I
do for
will,
Bitcoin. Put 1%. Okay.
Yeah, I was just gonna say
yeah.
that. That's what Bloomberg is like. Yeah, like 1% in Bitcoin. Yeah, so we are the
I
Bloomberg of
think
meme
yeah, you have to
coins.
think in terms of your portfolio percentage. Because even if you hit a 50x on something, if it doesn't do like a 20%, like if it doesn't make a dent in your portfolio, then what's the fucking point? Like, you know?
No, I think this is a good take. I think risk management is super important, and if you look at your portfolio and it's all memes, I think you're in trouble. I think generally you should rethink like what you're doing. But again, I'm not a successful meme investor. I typically just buy what I think is funny, and if it goes up, that's great. If not, that's fine too. Like Cockino was great because the ticker is literally cock. You tell your friend, I bought some cock today. Like I just think that's hilarious. It
Yeah,
doesn't even
yeah.
matter what it is. So I'm gonna buy that just because it's funny and no other reason. And that's kind of my thinking is if I think something's funny, I buy it. And if it takes off, great. If not, cool. I have fun looking at my portfolio and I see it there, on the list, even if it's not doing well.
Yeah, I do think we should build like a quantitative hedge fund based on meme coin trading and like see how many millions of dollars we can make or lose.
Honestly, we
Um,
should. Yeah, we should go to
I
ChatGPT, build out some tools, and try to like execute.
I wanted to talk a little bit about the Solana phone because that was like another pretty huge story for 2023. And I can kind of share just kind of where we're at right now with this. This story came out recently. Basically, they announced that they sold out of their Saga phones recently in the U.S. market, and they recently had to slash prices down from $1,000 per phone down to $600. So that is the current state of it. And let's see. So basically, I guess they hit their critical mass of $25,000 to $50,000 sales or 50,000 units sold. And yeah, the phone comes baked in with like airdrops. So then yeah, Bonk obviously went up a huge amount. And now to get a phone, if you go on eBay, like they're thousands of dollars to get one that's new. So yeah, like 2,000, 4,000, 1,500. Like yeah. So this is kind of like pretty insane. But interestingly enough, it was so the guy like Marcus Brownlee who does like the tech reviews. He's like super into like Apple products. He does a lot of like phone reviews. He has like 18 million subscribers, and he basically gave like a scathing review of like the Saga phone, and he was essentially like, "Don't buy it; it's garbage." And he like admits himself that he was never really like into crypto and like Web3, so I don't really think he understands like what's being offered here, like having like a phone that is custom built for like crypto operations. So yeah, I guess the phone launched in April 2023. So yeah, I guess quick kind of like historical context here. Basically, there was a phone, kind of like an offshoot of Android. A team formed and launched something called like the Essentials phone. So it's like a privacy focused Android phone. Gary Anderson, I think, founded it. Or no, not Gary Anderson, Andy Rubin. So that was in 2017. there wasn't really much interest for it. It's kind of like a niche phone enthusiasts project. And then part of that team, there's some controversy around the founder, and a new team kind of sprung out of the Essentials phone and started this company called Awesome. And they kind of honed in more into privacy and built this additional like enthusiast phone that was another kind of like, didn't get a ton of adoption, and that was in 2020. And then at some point along the way, I'm not sure when, Solana formed a strategic partnership with Awesome. I think they invested into their like Series A, and Awesome is going to be building the hardware for the Saga phone, and Solana is going to be bringing like the community and the cash and everything else. So right now on the Awesome site, yeah, they basically are entirely focused on this phone. So essentially, it comes with like a Solana mobile stack, so you can develop Solana apps and plug it right into the phone. I could see like it there not being Ethereum support being interesting, but yeah, it comes with like an onboard cold storage seed vault, so that allows you to authorize transactions to different apps with like a tap of your finger. Has its own dApp store, so instead of needing to go through Apple or Google's really restrictive Play stores that take like a 30% tax on everything you do. And there's been like a lot of controversy over this, and like Epic has been very vocal about like hating that 30% tax and like really wants the industry to avoid that. There's like a huge monopoly right now in the app stores, which is like killing revenue, or it's like eating into profits of a lot of companies, and it's caused all sorts of UX issues. Yeah, it has like the Helium network built in, and there's like all these rewards that get built into users of the phone. And yeah, and then I guess as far as specs, really quick, it has like a Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 chip, 500 gigs of storage, OLED display. It's overall maybe not like the most stellar phone. It's kind of like an average phone, I guess, hardware wise, but as far as like what it offers, I think is like a huge threat to the standing monopolies of Apple and Google as far as like the cell phone markets go. And it's all under this umbrella of privacy and not really like selling everything that you have to these companies, which basically control you and own you. So yeah, I don't know. How do you guys like feel about this Solana phone? Would you guys use this, or like, yeah, what's your vibe on it?
So my take is I'm not sure how many mobile users there are of crypto right now. I imagine there has to be a lot, but I'd be interested to see like how much they get hacked compared to, or how much they lose their crypto compared to like desktop users. I think something like this could really be a game changer to how people use their mobile phones to access crypto. I personally don't feel comfortable using my phone to access crypto right now. I'm much more
I
comfortable using my ledger on my desktop or
I
my
use
laptop phone.
I use mobile like 95% of the time, desktop for like cold storage. But when it comes to like my hot wallets, I am a mobile user, and there is a growing trend of
Mm.
people just being mobile only. So that's like a trend that's been ongoing. So yeah, I think this phone and any like future products like that would be very appealing to people going forward.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I also think that I do think that if this is this is risky and it's a big ambition, but if Solana is able to pull this off, like I actually like, for example, the App Store idea, I think is great. I think that the monopoly that Apple holds over the apps is a big deal.
I've had something.
Yeah, there was some issue with Apple. Like I think it was NFTs. Like they banned NFTs or something. NFT apps on the phone. But I think this is a good idea. Honestly, I think it's going to take a lot of time for them to work through beating the monopolies of the other companies. But I think I like how they have these big ambitions. Solana has big ambitions, and that's one of the reasons why I really like the chain. And if this does work out, and we have another option for a cell phone than just Google or Apple, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I don't have much to say other than I think that it's a good development for crypto in general. Like you said, to break up, to even put not a slight dent into the monopoly that Android and Apple own over basically all of us. We're forced to either be Android users or Apple users when we use our cell phones. I think this is going to be, if it's able to get developed and more people adopt it, I think that it's an incredible ambition to try to break that monopoly. And I also think that if we're able to add more Web3 mobile apps, I think you'll onboard a lot more users. I don't use crypto on my phone at all. I don't even have like a wallet tracker. I don't like that, just not for me. But I do see the use case for like a very hot wallet, or if I'm going to play a mobile game and I'm earning tokens from it. I think that's a really cool use case to be built into the phone. Just want to add one last thing. I think one of the bigger things on the mobile side was FriendTech earlier this year. When FriendTech came out, it was strictly mobile, and you had to download it directly from the website. So when I downloaded it, it's not on Android, it's not on the Apple Store or Google Play. You had to go to the website, download it, and then it unpacked it for you there, and then that's where you connected your wallet and you had to add money to your base account. So I thought that was pretty cool in terms of the mobile integration of crypto for this year, because like FriendTech was zeitgeist for like 2-3 weeks back in like the doldrums. So I think it's going to be a trend where there's going to be more dApps that come out for mobile. I personally am very bullish on gaming coming forward in 2024, because I really think that that's the killer use case where NFTs, in-game economy, and people, interacting and being addicted to like what they want to do in a game. Like you're not going to be addicted to DeFi. Like you're not going to be addicted to DPIN, but gaming you can be. And we know what gamers already spend for files, skins, power-ups. So I think the Solana ecosystem it's etching its own niche within the crypto ecosystem. And I think that it's a major step in the right direction for not just Solana, but for crypto in general.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think I also want to add that, Anatoly came from Qualcomm. He was there for many years building cell phone hardware. So if there was a crypto team that could build cell phones, it's this team. So they I think they got the team. So it's definitely a big lift. It's hard to imagine something challenging Google and Apple phones, because they've just monopolized the whole market. But if they do, that's up only for Sol, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool.
All right.
Yes, I think we can maybe jump into 2024.
Yeah, some predictions.
We go to 0.
You want me to start, or you want to start, Mario?
Yeah, I think we go to 0. I think we should sell everything starting tomorrow. I think we should open 100x short, and yeah, we'll be billionaires.
Yeah, it's not fun to be.
Speaking of 100x shorts, if they did deny the Bitcoin ETF, that would be the biggest rug pull I feel like we've ever seen. Like that would be, that's the kingmaker trade. Take 100x short, deny the ETF, and you're gonna make your living on that trade.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
Very low probability. I don't think so either. But it's just interesting to think about. Like, what if that would be, we would see some big ass red candles if that happened. Yeah, not likely.
I would say 2024 is going to be a great year. I would be very wary post halvening for like 3 to 8 weeks. I think there's going to be massive pullback. I think there's a lot of front running that's happening for the halvening. The ETF is also a narrative, but I think a lot of people are buying for the halvening as well. And I really believe the halvening will be front ran so hard where there's just going to be like, whoa, what happened here? And there's going to be a pullback. I also think that the blow off, quote unquote, top will probably take place next year around this time into like Q1 of 25. So it all depends what narratives are hot. I still think that gaming and NFTs are going to be front and center because they're very, very easy for the layman to understand. I think DeFi is going to be interesting if there's going to be more on-chain perps, because on-chain perps need liquidity, and liquidity and leverage create opportunities for yield. But I don't know if it's going to be what we saw like in DeFi summer of 2020. I think that that's not going to take place. DPIN is whiles away. DSocial whiles away. Friendtech is interesting. I don't know what happened to them since August, September. They were going to need like an airdrop for people to start using it again. But I think that we're going to have a very good year. I think that Bitcoin's finally going to be institutionalized, and I think that's just going to bring a lot of liquidity into the space. And it just depends what narrative is going to be hot. What narrative is going to be hot.
Yeah, on a serious note, I think DeFi is going to get a massive bid this year. My thesis is simple. It's just as TradFi takes crypto seriously and as the money flows in, I really don't see TradFi or like these quote unquote serious investors touching meme coins with a 1 foot pole, right? Like they're just gonna they're like, what the fuck is this? I'm not gonna touch that, right? But a lot of these DeFi coins like Compound, Maker, Aave, right? These are legitimate products, right? That have stood the test of time, and I think like when it comes to the people that are more TradFi minded, these are obviously way more investable than like fucking Pepe coin, right? So I think a lot of money will flow into these DeFi coins because I believe that TradFi wants to know like they want to like position themselves as they know what they're doing, right, to their clients. And what better way than to invest in Curve, right, like and invest in Compound and invest in Aave and invest in all these DeFi coins that do all these magical things. I really think DeFi will catch a bid because it looks presentable. It's something you can explain to someone, and it sounds it sounds legit, but it really isn't.
Yeah, I think likely this administration is going to want to make sure that things are looking strong going into the election. And I think, yeah, it's barring any crazy foreign conflicts. I mean, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world right now. So anything is possible, but I think it seems like, we'll be seeing more rate cuts. And I think there's going to be a big kind of risk on push generally. Yeah, I don't know if this is just like too crazy to do like price targets, but I just did like a little bit of, I think if everything goes well, and we'll see like if I get absolutely wrecked here, but I could see Bitcoin going in the low end, maybe 70K to 100K.
Low
ETH,
target,
I
bro.
think yeah, it is low, but it could, yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to be like somewhat conservative here, but Ethereum, I think 5K, and then Solana, 300 range, or I think possibly past its prior all-time high. I mean, these are like you could argue these are like very hopeful or very like super conservative. But yeah, that's kind of where I am. I don't know if you guys had like price targets for this year for like Bitcoin, ETH, or Sol.
I think 100,000 to 200,000 is within the realm of possibility, maybe even more, but 100 to 200K range. ETH like 10 to 20K range, and then every other coin will reach all-time highs, if not more. That's where
Wait,
I'm.
you mean by the end of the cycle or the end of 2024?
Oh, right. I mean, I think the end of the cycle is 2025, so.
Right.
Yeah, I think that by the time we reach 2024, the end of 24, like we're already reaching the end of the cycle anyway. Like, because if you calculate like when you should quote unquote theoretically sell, like it should be you should be buying Bitcoin 500 days before the halving, and then it's 500 days after the halving, right? When you run the numbers, it's spring of 2025 that you should be selling. Wait, no, yeah, spring to summer of 2025. So by the time we reach 2024, like the end of 24, like much of the bullish cycle is already done, and then we have like a little bit left to go. So I would say, yeah, these price targets is for, I guess, yeah, for end of 24.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, I mean, oh man, I'll play this game. Let's see. So end of 2024, I actually like the 70K to 100K price target. I would say I don't think it's gonna hit 100 in 2024. I'm gonna say it's between 60 to 80. I think if it breaks the all-time high. I don't think it goes all the way to 100 just
guys
yet.
are not bullish enough. Like, come on, bro. Like, 69K
I
is the
know.
all-time high, right? Like, why wouldn't we go like,
I'm already positioned.
like, why can't we 3x
but
the all-time high? I don't see it. Like, why not? Like, everything's happening, right?
I do think so in 2025 though, but 2024 is like if you look at 2020, Bitcoin I don't think had broken its all. Oh no, it had broken it.
Exactly, bro.
So, but it hadn't gone to 3x the all-time high just yet. That happened the year after. So,
Fair enough.
I do
fair
think
enough.
it could break the all-time high, but it's not going to be by an insane margin. That's going to be when sees it and then retail piles back
Nah,
in, in
man.
25.
The ETFs, man. Like, once we get registered, like, once the announcement comes out, it's gonna be like 2 or 3 months until the products go live. Is what I've read, and then once the products go live, there's gonna be like a heavy marketing push, and then the halving's gonna come around. There's gonna be the halving narrative. Like, I really think like there's gonna be billions and billions of dollars flowing in, and we could easily hit 100K plus. Like, I don't think like I still think you guys aren't bullish enough.
Point taken. So which I'll pose this question. So which asset do you think breaks its new all-time high first? Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Solana?
Bitcoin.
Yeah, I'm with. Yeah, totally.
Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's mine.
I think Ethereum is a true beta to Bitcoin. I think Solana right now is just having a moment, but it's all about Bitcoin. I mean, let's just, I'm just stating the obvious. It's really about Bitcoin because if Bitcoin doesn't, like, the space is not gonna get the liquidity it needs to do the multiples that it wants to do.
How about you, Dan? What's your take?
Yeah, I think I agree with that. Actually, I was gonna say Solana, but then I was realizing like, yeah, I think there's just gonna be massive institutional push into Bitcoin, and that I think will be way more fuel than is available to Solana. But I think things can spill over very quickly, so I don't think it'll beat it by that long. Yeah, I am curious of Coinbase. I mean, I know they've been absolutely ripping, and they're also kind of indirectly tied to this whole ETF business as like a custody provider. But
Coinbase is at
yeah, I mean,
100%
I think we're going to see
share.
that.
I think Coinbase is like $500
Wow.
plus by end of 24.
I could see that. I think Coinbase. Yeah, they're so well positioned. It's insane.
No, like they're gonna do perps, base chain, the sequencer revenue. Then there's like the retail trading on the exchange. They're gonna print so much fucking money. I don't think Wall Street has like priced that in.
Yeah.
When it comes to like their estimates, because
Yeah.
so it's like $500 a share, maybe more.
How do you guys feel about the whole AI and crypto narrative? Like, do you think that, like Tau, for instance, right? Yeah, I know it's laughable, but I feel like Tau is. I know it's like the big meme right now. It's like a joke, right? But I mean, if what Tau is selling is actually real, and I think this, I personally think it's worth much more than $1.5 billion. I feel like decentralized AI marketplace. And all we're going to hear about over the next 2 years is AI. It's going to be constantly in our faces all the time.
All right.
It's going to get way better, So
yeah, for me, like AI is really not investable because I don't know anything about it. It's not within my competency. Like I like DeFi coins, and I just mainly stick to DeFi coins. But I am curious to hear your perspective. Like, why is like this coin? Why is this AI coin gonna actually be a thing? Like, what is it? Like that's something that like
sure
people have struggled to like explain to me, and I would really like to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, so essentially, we have centralized banking and centralized financial institutions, and crypto is meant to, with the self custody and the DeFi and all that, it's meant to decentralize finance, right? But now what we're seeing is we have these huge centralized AI models. So we have, GPT, we have Anthropic, we have, all of these big companies and we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, and they're the best models, but we don't, we don't really know what they're doing. And Tau is meant to decentralize that system. It's meant to have smaller models that are essentially you essentially can earn tokens on your models. So you're mining Tau tokens based on your AI models. And then there's validators on the other side that like validate model results. So you could think of like a decentralized marketplace for models where people are making money based on how good the models are.
Now, if someone had said that to me like 4 months ago, I probably would have aped.
Yeah, I mean, That's what I'm saying. Like, Tau actually has been correcting for a while, and these prices are actually kind of nice here. I feel like 250 is not bad. So I'm thinking of just aping and seeing what happens. But I mean, the fact is, like, there's no historical thing we could look at to see how much this is valued. Like, this could be worth nothing. I think it's actually worth a lot more than this. If this really does work out, I feel like we could be looking at something really big here. And at this valuation, it's like nothing compared to what it could be.
Maybe I'm mid-curving
That's
it.
just my take.
Maybe I'm mid-curving it, but I guess my question is like, we already have like these tools out there on the internet that allows you to build your own models, import your own data set, etc. Like this, like I guess my question would be like, is this actually a genuinely useful tool when it comes to like building out your own like your own bots and stuff like that? I'm very curious to hear if this is something that people are actually using, or is it just a meme, right? Like,
Sure.
yeah, like how much of it's
Yep.
actually a meme, and like, or versus there is a small group of people that are actually finding like genuine utility out of the stuff that Tao is providing. I'm just, if I could if it turns out that it's actually legitimate, then yeah, I think that, yeah, market cap 10 billion, 20 billion, why not?
Yeah. No, I mean, it's a fair analysis, but I've already seen some projects that are launching on Tau. Like Mind is one of them, MND, and again, these projects they're hard to understand. But I'm kind of seeing this vision where you have these DeepIn projects like Akash. So you have the infrastructure that's decentralized for AI. Now you have the actual decentralized platform for like the models themselves. So like we are getting to a world where it's possible, and we can kind of break the hold that like GPT has on us. But it's going to be a long climb. I again, like, we're kind of in an AI super cycle too. So I don't know where it takes us, and I need to understand these things a lot more too. But I think it's worth looking at on a deeper level.
I think the narrative's strong.
For sure.
AI,
Yeah.
crypto, they both need each other. The infrastructure,
Yeah.
decentralized marketplaces. Like, it's a strong narrative. It's just a matter of, do you want to put time and effort into researching the real gems that are going to do 100, 200, 3, 4, 500x?
For
It's the
sure.
same thing. I think it's very bullish. I think it's going to be a narrative, regardless if there is no, let's say, like a killer app for AI. I'm just using the word killer app just so we know, like, there's not like this, whoa, it blows everyone away with AI and crypto. I just think gaming. I'm just going to go back to that. I think gaming for this specific cycle for 24, I think it's going to be huge. I already see it. There's a bunch of tokens that have been pumping, like Prime, you know, some Valeria tokens. I think they're primed for, pun intended, but they're primed to just moon. It's the time.
Yeah, I have to echo that. I think for going back to crypto, if there's one narrative I think takes off, I think a GameFi summer is definitely possible. There's a lot more to crypto gaming than it was when Axie was around. Axie's not the only game in town anymore. There's a lot of other stuff out there. So yeah, I would echo that.
Yeah. That's another episode we should do, is just like a deep dive on the games and like just playing them. I think I've been a little out of the loop in all these games. I remember like getting into Star Atlas like when they were just doing the NFT drops, but I think I was just getting into the wrong games, and like they haven't really launched it yet. So it's like a large project. But yeah, as far as like AI goes, I think for sure narrative is incredibly strong right now. I don't know. Yeah, I would need to research it more, Tao, as far as like if the I mean, it's looking at the docs, it seemed pretty complicated. I need to kind of see like if those incentives are real and like easily obtained. I know there's like Civet AI where people kind of upload a lot of models, but yeah, models are going to be getting better. I think pretty soon we're going to be seeing just like all sorts of like just sex bots popping up, and I'm sure there's going to be like a models that are proprietary that have like some crypto mechanisms to them, but I don't think we're quite there yet as far as like AI agents that are like paying in crypto. Like, I don't know that. I could see me being like two plus years out. So I think probably for now the products are just going to get really good on like the Web 2 platforms, and we'll have, I guess, ChatGPT 4.5 or 5. I mean, who knows what else is going to come out next this year, but I'm sure they're working really hard, and then everything will get better in Web 2. But I think Web 3, it's still kind of like a little kooky and like difficult to maintain. But yeah, I do need to read much more deeply into Tau and try to see if I can get some like tutorials working or something like that. Cool. Yeah, I guess. Do anyone else have any like final parting thoughts here?
I just want to
Crypto
say
land,
I had a
holiday
good time
season.
today. Tonight was a lot of fun, just chit chatting with my folks. And I wish you guys the happiest of New Year's. And 2023 was a good year overall. It was a lot of fun, a lot of tumultuous. It was very tumultuous, especially early on. But we got through it together. And 2024, we're going to be printing together. So I'm excited about that.
I'm hoping that everybody
Yeah,
hits
fully
seven
agreed.
figures. Everybody hits 8 figures, and later, as the cycle's about to end, we all pull money together into like a fund. We'll call it the Red Candle Club Fund, and then we ape into these seed rounds, man. I'm fingers crossed.
We'll get the DAO going. Yeah, no, I'm fully on board with that. It was a crazy year. I'm happy to be moving into 24. And yeah, I'm feeling good about everything. I learned like a lot of hard lessons from like the last cycle, and I'm feeling ready right now. So yeah, this is really fun, dudes. Great chatting with y'all. And yeah, if I don't see any of you guys, have an awesome New Year's celebration.
For sure. Yeah, I would echo that. Happy New Year's, guys, and cheers to 2024, and let's all make some money.